Hey there, Michael Leedy here once again with another SMB tutorial. In this video, we are going to be explaining how to create an auto reply message. Why would we use this? So we're looking to build followers and engagement, right? And to do that, it's often nice to seek out people who are using certain hashtags, certain words or phrases that fit the vision of our business. So you have your business, I have mine. Like I'm working with a client who has theirs, and we're going to use them as the example today. As you know, it's You the Magician, which is a children's book. That's also great for entrepreneurs, and adults should read it too, I swear. But you want to make sure that you are engaging with people, and so that this takes time. So you set up the auto message, and then when people respond to it, you have warm targeted leads to respond to. If people don't respond to it, then they don't, and you didn't waste your time sitting there and retweeting all day. We don't want you to be in front of your computer. The whole great thing about SMBs is that you set stuff up and then you just monitor and manage and engage back to those who are responding to those messages. So that being said, let's proceed to the screen. Okay, we're going to start on this page. I just like to kind of start here, and then we go to add services, which you've seen this screen before in the other videos. And as you know, we've already set up Twitter. This is very Twitter focused, what we're talking about right now. Now over to the left here, you're gonna go down to the bottom, and this is an application. So we're gonna click that button. If you wanna know how to do Twitter welcome message, which would be the message that someone receives when they follow you, there's a video for that. Take a look for it. Twitter auto retweets, there's a video for that as well. Today in this video, we are going to cover Twitter auto replies. So we're going to click add here. Let me give you some, there's lots of options, okay? So we're going to just fill in the blanks, which is super simple. And here, just for the basics of it, I'm going to select You the Magician because the SMBist already knows that this is an account we're using because we installed this app or this channel in the very beginning. So we're going to call this one YTM at reply. And then I'm going to use kids wellness. So I'm doing this multiple times per keyword. Right? So kids wellness will be the keyword of this page. So the keyword here, we're going to put it there. Okay. So these words optional. If you also, it's like, okay, this, but then if they say these words too, you can put more than one word in here. You just separate it with commas. I'm not doing that because the messages that I'm going to connect to the reply to this have to do with kids wellness. And that'll be down lower. Okay, so any of these words optional, like, so again, you can add more keywords. None of these words. So you're like, oh, we like all these words, but if these words are connected to these words, we do not want to mess with these people. That's what that's for. Only respond to this Twitter user. My personal account, because my personal stuff is more business and startup and small biz. It's, there's certain people like John Loomer, who talks a lot about Facebook. So with him, I'd put John Loomer and I'd put a set of keywords that have to do with that. I put him here so it knows that if he's saying any of these keywords, I want to retweet that, X amount of times per day. So that's if you want a specific person, that's what you do there. Exclude these Twitter users. So this would not be in use. An example I used before is, let's say, you're a political person, and I'm only using this example because it makes sense very easily. And let's say you follow Hillary Clinton. If you are saying hashtags or keywords that are all pro-Hillary, you want to make sure that you're not going to go down here and retweet from Jeb Bush, because that just won't make sense, okay? Again, I'm not promoting politics. It's all shenanigans to me. I'm just using that as an example so that you can understand why you would want to say, I don't want to retweet anyone on this handle. And I think that would make most sense using the politics. Exclude these Twitter users. Oh, that was that one. Okay, the message. Okay, so as I was saying, our messages are very designed for this keyword, like so, okay? So one message per line, so it won't always say the same message, like one day it'll do this one, and then one day it'll do this one, and then one day it'll do this one, right? So you want different messages. Now you want to make them kind of generic, because look, our word is kids wellness. Okay, you're getting some training here. You're getting some training here. So I'm not sure if you wanted that, but I'm giving it to you anyway because it's very important, and I want you to understand this so that you're getting the most bang for your efforts, okay, for you or your clients. You got to kind of be a little bit generic. So you got to go, interesting feed. So basically someone used the word kids wellness, and SMB goes and finds that word, and then it replies to it. You have to kind of think, okay, well, it can't be too specific because what the heck was that talking about? Because this is running in the background for you. So interesting feed, thanks. I mean, they're going to favorite that and retweet it. They just are. That's what's going to happen. Great info. We're all about kids wellness. Again, they're going to favorite and they're going to retweet. They may or may not respond. They may not follow you. It's really, we're just looking to get some engagement, right? So we're pro kids wellness too. Great stuff. Again, very generic. And now, try some questions. Where do you think kids wellness starts? So now, in addition to probably getting a favorite and a retweet, you might even get a response. And that kind of response, when someone does respond to something like that, you have now created a warm, targeted audience member. Like that could lead to your business. And so it's a very generic statement, right? Same thing as this one. So does kids wellness and kids happiness go hand in hand? Where would you say a parent should find kids wellness? Kids wellness leads to brilliant minds. These are all very basic, very generic. I've got 7 of them in here, because I am going to have this frequency in hours. I'm going to have it do every 24, so once a day. This is for a client, so I'm going to test it out slowly. I'm going to see how it goes. I'm going to see the kind of reactions that are happening. And I don't want to just slam them with stuff. Okay, so I'm being careful. Now we can turn this up and make it more frequent or not. We could probably do 12 every 12 hours, but again, I'm going to just stick to once a day because I'm not just doing it for this one. I've got 5 other hashtags that I'm going to target as well. Okay, so that's this part down here. So sometimes you can speak at the person. You can go interesting feed, and if you have this in there, it's going to pull up their first name, and then so interesting feed, this person, thanks. What I found in this situation is a lot of times, especially with the username, it'll be like, because it'll retweet at that person's name already. So their handle is going to be in the message regardless. So it'll go username, interesting feed username, thanks. It gets a little redundant. I learned that just from testing and paying attention. So always test and pay attention, okay? Email notifications, this is if you want to get a message every time one of these goes out, you can. I personally do not want to see every time one of these goes out. I know one is going out every 24 hours. Number of tweets per time, again, it's for a client. I'm just testing, so I'm just going to do 1 until I get things rolling. If you do want email notifications, this is the email that it's going to go to. Sentiments, any? Absolutely not. I only like positive. Okay, so if we're talking about, I believe this is kids wellness is what we're doing. Yes, if we're talking about kids wellness and someone doesn't like kids wellness because maybe they don't like kids or they're just, just not nice people, then they might say something negative, and I don't want any of that going into my Twitter feed or my client's Twitter feed. So that's why I often just only choose positive, but you have options. It can go either way. Auto follow, yes. So we always want to auto follow them. This will build up how many people you are following as well. It does get your feed to be following a lot often because this is going to just keep running daily. So this is going to be 5 times a day. We're following 5 new people, and this is just one of the apps that we have running. So you're going to want to clear those out at some point. We'll cover that later in a different tutorial. Right now, we're just showing you how to set it up and to do it properly. Country, well, you can geo-target. So if you have a small business, you're very local, and you want to target only the people who live around you in Columbus, Ohio, then you can go in here, you can click the United States, you can put in Columbus, Ohio, And you can put in distance within miles. Heck, you can even put in the longitude and latitude if you want to get that kind of, detailed. Current, active, we're turning on. I mean, that's pretty much it. Note up here that you don't want any, if the phrase, you don't want it to wrap. Like you see how this blue, I'm gonna just go like this. Let's pretend it went all the way to the end and then it wrapped. You don't want that. What happens is then it only puts up what's on the top half up here. So you would only get that. And then this part down here wouldn't be at all. This part would go out by itself. Again, I learned this from testing. I'm telling you this now, only, fill up the top. You don't want anything to wrap, okay? Separate them with lines. Each one is gonna be its own thing. Each one will go out on a different day. It's really, really cool. Now, as I said before, I'm doing this with multiple accounts. So Kids Wellness, I'm gonna do Wellness. You notice how many messages I have for each one. Kids Lit, Mindfulness. You're gonna wanna test the stuff you're doing. You wanna take Kids Wellness over to Twitter, and you want to put this in here, and you want to see what people are saying so you can kind of get an idea of the stuff you're responding to, because your questions need to be a little bit generic enough so that it makes sense with all the different types of things people are using that for. Because, if someone goes, kids wellness is important, and you respond with, awesome. You know any great books? It's not even a good example. I can't even think of a good example right now of how it would be messed. But if you research the hashtag or the keyword that you're looking for, I use hashtags because it's more specific. You can just use words. You can use phrases, whatever you want, whatever works for your business. Use that. But just do the research first because, and I explained this in a different video, when I was going through this process, because, I go and I build a list. I have really hot keywords, and then I have long-term keywords, and I researched all of them, and it came down to those 5 ones that I'm going to be using. But, I was checking the word fun, and porn came up. Now, we do not want that on our kids' book page, as you would imagine, right? So you want to make sure you're just kind of going through everything to make sure it fits, that with the generic statements you're going to put out to encourage engagement back and to get them to follow you, you just want to make sure what you're saying fits, and then just make sure your messages are basic enough. And really, that's it. Let me just kind of give you some other examples of stuff. So wellness, this is wellness. We love hearing about wellness. Thanks for sharing. Wellness is key. You're awesome. We're also spreading wellness. Thanks. So is wellness a state of mind? Thoughts? In putting some questions here. Any favorite wellness sources? So you're asking questions to get them to engage. Would you say wellness and happiness go hand in hand? Do stuff to encourage conversation as well as, just to make statements. But again, if you ask questions, people will be more likely to respond to you so that you can build conversations and move from there. I really hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, as usual, you can go over here and you can kind of give us a click on the right, go to contact us and click that. You'll be prompted to send us a message, and there you go. If you want to do auto retweets or Twitter welcome, how to install those, there's videos for that. And I think that's really basically about it. Just please do your research and know which hashtags are strong for what you're doing. Be very organized in your methods, as you've seen this worksheet before on how I do everything. Now imagine this, if you're keeping everything documented like this, now you know which words you need to go test to figure out what you're going to respond to. Once you get those words, you can write stuff in here. I think that's it. Just be organized and whatnot for yourself. And if you have clients, they will be so gracious if you hand this over to them. Heck, you could probably even charge them a little extra to provide them with this kind of document if it's this kind of organized. Okay? I think we're done. Long-winded enough. Michael Eady here. I'm going to set the rest of these up. I would show you, but you already get the gist of it. Just rewatch the video if you need to see it again, and let us know if you have any questions. And I'm being redundant, so you have a great day, and I'll talk to you on the next SMB tutorial.